Hello and welcome along to AVFTS Wrexham. I hope you're well whenever you're watching this video. Thank you so much for clicking on it. Make sure you smash a like, subscribe to the channel and get involved in the comment section below. I want to know your thoughts on this one because some breaking news has come in live tonight. Tom Cairney, the man that Wrexham have been chasing for months, Premier League captain of Fulham, it was set. It was made for him to come to Wrexham. And this deal seems like it's crashed, it's tumbled, and the big rejection, the big red cross has come in. He has rejected the Wrexham deal. And my gosh, we got to talk about this one. Now, why has this one come up today? Because it's the 30th of June going into the 1st of July. And the 30th of June is significant because it is the day in which players' contracts are terminated. That is the day when players either continue into the new season from the 1st of July or their contracts are cut and they need to go find a new club. And Tom Cairney's contract was set to end today and he was going to be a free agent. But in the last few hours, it has emerged that Tom Cairney is going to actually get another 1-year deal extension and going to continue at Fulham. This is absolutely massive news, as Wrexham had been pinning their hopes on signing the current former Premier League captain of Fulham, and that one's gone down the drain. Have a look at this. This is the reports that are coming in. Again, this is not 100% gospel, but we're pretty close with this one. So Peter Rutzler has said Fulham captain Tom Cairney is moving towards signing a 1-year extension. Told it's not agreed yet, but that's the direction of travel. It would be his 11th season at Fulham, which is absolutely massive. And loyalty in football is very hard to find. 11 seasons at Fulham, it looks like Fulham are going to reward their club captain with another deal and let him decide if he wants to stay, then that's the way to be it. Well, just for your awareness, Peter Rutzler is a football reporter for the Times Sport and more importantly, does do a lot of Fulham work. So this guy's an inside man at Fulham. He knows the club inside out. And so basically, when Peter Rutzler speaks about Fulham, you listen. And that is why this news is absolutely massive, because Wrexham fans have listened, they've looked at that, and they've gone, oh boy, oh boy. Tom Cairney. Honestly, a lot of Wrexham fans and Parky himself, I think, believed this one was going to land as a free agent, and now it's all gone south. Now, let's have just a quick look at this as well, because obviously here is the headline coming out here. £3 million Premier League captain poised to snub Wrexham transfer as Phil Parkinson misses out on huge coup, which is, as we are talking about today. Now, we've been chasing Fulham captain Tom Cairney, but Phil Parkinson's transfer hopes may be coming to an end. Wrexham want to sign a left-foot midfielder this summer with a host of names linked. Now, actually, just talking on that, I've had a few people comment, especially on the Danny Ward video, about the fact that Wrexham need to concentrate on that midfield area. And it does seem that that's where Parky's been looking at, especially left-footed midfielders. And so potentially, we may see a video on this channel of recommended midfielders that Wrexham can go and get, especially if this Tom Cairney deal becomes official, which it does, by the way, seem very likely that he has rejected this Wrexham move. So moving on to the article, it then goes on to say the following. The fact that there's other players suggesting a lead up. It says, Tom Cairney poised to snub Wrexham. The Premier League season was still going when Wrexham were linked with an enormous move for Tom Cairney. Speculation suggested that Wrexham were making a move for Tom Cairney as his Fulham career came to an end. Wrexham offered Cairney big money to make the move to North Wales, and there's real hope of a deal at one stage. Marco Silva felt Cairney would be leaving Fulham at the end of the season, with Wrexham seemingly leading the race for his signature. As the weeks have gone on, that hope has faded, with no movement on Cairney's potential move to Wrexham. Reports just a few days ago highlighted that Cairney would communicate his decision to Wrexham ahead of his contract expiring today. That day is now here, and the Athletic's Pete Rutzler, which I've showed you, claims that Cairney is now moving towards a new deal. And look, as I said, 11 years at the club is massive, and he has rejected the big move to come to Wrexham. Now, I'm not going to show you too much more of that article, because what I am probably going to do in the next coming days is give you 5 midfielders I think Wrexham should sign. A new video idea, a new good idea in which we can look for new potential targets There's some good names around. So save that one, pause that one. But I am going to say this. Fulham seem to be moving weird. And I'm going to explain why. And this is a bit more of a backstory. So this seems very familiar territory. Fulham simply don't want to seem to let players go on a free transfer. And the reason why I'm saying this is because player Cairney is part of this massive scandal. Have a look at this. This is reported by the GOAT himself, Fabrizio Romano, who actually said, and those of you who've never come across Fabrizio Romano, he is the main man who reports football as an independent journalist on social media, and he is very well known for having every contact and every link. He went on to say, this was a few days ago, exclusive, Everton have reached verbal agreement to sign Kenny Tete as a free agent. 3-year deal in place, contract to 2028. Here we go soon. And Everton thought they were landing Kenny Tete on a free agent because his deal had run out at Fulham. Well, do you know what the weird situation is now, Kenny Tete? Yeah, you might have guessed it, you may not have. Well, Fulham have done a Fulham, and look what Fabrizio have reported here. As I said with Kenny Tete, understand Fulham are now closing on the agreement of Kenny Tete over a new contract. Formal steps still needed, but Fulham now confident after Everton proposal almost accepted. Basically, Fulham are a bit like this during the season. Oh, yeah, we've got our free transfer list. They're aware of these players and are sort of willing to let them go on a free transfer. And then all of a sudden, because there's a bit of noise around their players, Kenny Tete from Everton, be a Premier League rival. And I feel like Wrexham and Tom Cairney has been there for a few months now. But as that noise has got bigger and bigger, Fulham have gone, oh, wait, if these players are in demand, shouldn't we keep them? And quite simply, Fulham don't want to let go of their assets on a free. And they're just giving them new contracts and new deals. Very interesting stuff. Now, to see what happens with Kenny Tete and Tom Cairney, especially in the January transfer window, is something we should look out for. But as I said, back to Tom Cairney and Wrexham. This has been work behind the scenes, which I reckon has gone on for months. Conversations with Tom Cairney have gone on for months and months. And yet, to have this last minute U-turn coming into the 1st of July with probably a massive kick in the teeth for Wrexham, because no doubt about it, I think this report is true, that he will reject Wrexham and get a new deal at Fulham, because this guy is a living legend at that club. Already done 10 years. What does an extra year mean to him? Everything, it seems. And maybe that's the club that Tom Cairney wants to finish at, retire at. Who knows? So Parky has got to go find a new midfielder somewhere else, and he's got to get it in quick. And as I said, some great targets out there. But let me know your thoughts. How gutted are you of losing out on Tom Cairney? Do you think he would have been a really good piece of the puzzle for Wrexham? Or do you think this would have been another bold move that potentially wouldn't have worked out? For me, Tom Cairney, quality player, hasn't played enough in that Fulham side as he would have liked to this season. And that is very evident again in his game time. Have a look at this. Tom Cairney, as I said, is someone who can play in precarious roles of central midfield, right midfield, etc. But the one thing about Tom Cairney is that his game time has absolutely been lack of, in all seriousness, lack of. And have a look at sorry, I had another bit there, so that's really annoying. Tom Cairney, basically, I was gonna share stats again, and apologies for that on the video. He has been someone who, again, game time, 25 matches for Fulham this season, nowhere near the quota of how much he's been involved in the previous seasons. They're on the screen here now for you, and as I said, I do apologise for that previous crazy advert that popped up on my computer as I was trying to get the stats up. You can see the last 2 seasons he's played 34 and 33 games, and he's 10 games short in this current season. Again, it hasn't chipped in with the goals or assists, and it looks very bland, those stats. And that's what we're looking at. A 34-year-old. He's going to go into next season as a 35-year-old. The way I see it, the bloke wants to retire at Fulham, and let's see how that pans out. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you smash the like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you on the next one. Ta-da!